Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Amelie podcast. I've got lots to talk about this week and this episode. I've got my laptop here instead of my cue cards because I had so much to say about the topic we're talking about today. In this episode, I want to be catching up with you guys, telling you where I'm at right now in terms of moving to Australia and what's sort of going on at the moment. I want to tell you all about my week, what's been going on, but also I really want to get into skincare, hair care, and body care when you're traveling because so many videos have come up on my TikTok recently and they are all about what people are bringing traveling in terms of hair care, or people are bringing straighteners, curling irons, fake tan, whatever. And so I want this episode to show you the do's and don'ts of things to bring when traveling. I also felt like this was quite relevant because I have had my hair cut, which it was in very, very, very much need of, and I will get into it in this episode, but I was really excited to get my hair cut because I've not had my hair cut for about 10 months at this point, which if you're a hairdresser, don't come for me. I didn't have time to get my hair cut, and also when you're traveling, it's just not something I was thinking about, but I will get into it. But this episode is for all the girlies who are thinking, what do I pack when I'm going traveling? You want to maintain a skincare routine, want to maintain a hair care routine, want to take care of your body. And I just thought I would give you some tips and tricks and obviously do's and don'ts. So let's get into it. Last weekend, we moved out and moved back into the flat that we are in. So we ended the sublet of the flat that we're in, and it's officially our flat, which is kind of crazy and feels kind of insane to have signed on to a flat in a different country. I don't know why, it just feels very adulty, and it really feels like now we live here and like I live in Australia and that is where you'll find me basically. But we also had such a fun time finding new furniture for the flat because the girl that we were subletting off had to come and take all her furniture back. So we spent some time buying new stuff. I've mentioned it in previous episodes where we were looking for sofas, things like that. We had such a fun time going to IKEA, and kind of feels like we bought the whole of IKEA. But it was really nice to buy a new sofa, I will say, because if you've seen the episodes that I've done with Grace before, whenever she would sit on the sofa, for some reason she would kind of sink into the sofa because there was this dip in it, and I guess that's from people sitting on it all the time. But it was so annoying to us because every time we would film, I would look so much taller and bigger than she was when we're actually just sitting on the same sofa. But it was really nice to buy a new sofa. We've got our new bed, which we actually got off Facebook Marketplace, which was, it's a good tip. If you're moving here and you need new furniture, Marketplace is really, really good. We also got some new bedside tables, desks, things like that, and it just feels like it's now officially our flat, which I absolutely love, and feels like we can really settle in now, whereas before, when it was all of her stuff, we couldn't really, I guess, relax because we knew that she was going to come and take everything eventually. But last weekend, we had to move everything, and I mean everything, out of the flat for 20 minutes whilst the estate agent came and did the whole leaving report for her and the entry report for us and everything. And we had to put everything in the corridor, and then she took her pictures for like 20 minutes and then we moved it all back in. And it kind of felt a bit like a fever dream, if I'm honest. It was such a whirlwind of a day, and it was so like, what the fuck is going on? Because we woke up and obviously we're in our bed. Then you have to take the whole bed down, move it into the corridor, and then 4 hours later, everything was the exact same way it was before. And it just felt really like, what's happened? Like, it felt like a kind of glitch in the Matrix almost. So that was really fun. But it's really exciting because now we can make the flat our own and we can actually properly settle into it, which we're so excited about. And now it feels a bit more steady, it feels a bit more secure, and we have somewhere to live, which when I was thinking about it is kind of insane. And I was thinking like, I'm so proud of us because we arrived with just backpacks on our backs. Like, we didn't have anything. We didn't even think that we would end up buying a bed, buying sofas, things like that. And it just made me feel really proud of like where we've come from since we landed in July. And it just kind of feels insane. And I think it's inspiring for other people that if you're thinking of traveling or if you're thinking of moving to Australia, it takes time. And I think, I'm an example of it. We didn't move here and buy all this furniture and have a perfect flat set up for us or anything as soon as we landed. It's been a process, and I've kind of tried to take you guys through that whole process and explain to you the situation we're in, but it just feels really, really lovely to finally be settled, finally feel a bit more secure, and just, especially with summer coming now, it's just going to be so nice to get some furniture for the balcony and be able to sit outside, enjoy the sun, and it's our space now. Just a little moment of appreciation, and I'm very, very proud of us. I think it's been a really fun and kind of crazy journey to get our own flat. Also, I feel like it would be kind of stupid of me to not talk about this topic this week, and it's not necessarily an update on my life or traveling or anything, but I obviously do want to mention that Liam Payne died this week, and it's kind of been crazy, to be honest, which I know everyone else has had the same reaction of, disbelief, but I was in such shock. And I think what was so difficult as well was difficult for me, like, I'm not even involved, but it was so crazy to me because we found out Australian time like 1 p.m. I think our time, and that's like 3 a.m. for the UK. So I was messaging friends being like, have you seen the news? And they would obviously just fast asleep, had no idea. And eventually when they woke up, it was like, oh my God, have you seen? And I was like, yes, I've been freaking out all day. It honestly feels like a part of our childhoods has gone. And I know it sounds a bit dramatic, but genuinely the obsession with One Direction was insane. Like, I loved them, and I was even fortunate enough to go and see them at Wembley actually when 5 Seconds of Summer opened up, which was kind of the other it boy band at the time. And I was, wow. And obviously I thought that Harry looked me in the eyes and blew me a kiss and everything. But yeah, I just think it really got me thinking about the fact that everybody just needs to be kinder to each other. And it's just, we've had so many examples of people where being online has created a downfall for them in terms of their mental health. You've got Caroline Flack, you had Mike from Love Island, and it just made me reflect and just think we really need to be kinder. And it really gives you that perspective that the people you're watching, even the creators online, like watching big UK YouTubers or other podcasts, it's like these are real people and they are not just here for my entertainment. They have a life just as complex as mine or someone else, and it's beautiful to see all of the tributes that people have made to him. It's gorgeous to see everybody just pouring so much love and appreciation for him, and I think I still just can't believe it. I just find it so insane. Felt all a bit strange, and I just wanted to obviously mention it in this episode because I feel like it's a pretty big deal, especially for me, for my childhood and the music I've grown up listening to and the boy band I was absolutely obsessed with. And I just wanted to pay tribute to that. And I really send love and support to the people that it's affected. And, it just reminds you to just be kind. And just, if you don't like what you're watching, you don't like what someone's doing, just scroll. You don't need to leave a nasty comment. You don't need to be mean. It just got me thinking, and it wouldn't feel right to do an episode this week with what's happened and not say anything. So that's kind of the sad part of the week, but I want to move on to the happier part of my week, which was me getting my hair cut. My hair before was absolutely ruined and so dry and so long, it was like a coat almost on me, and I just feel so much lighter and it feels so much nicer. And if you're watching this episode, I will insert a picture somewhere where I will show you how much we cut off because it's actually disgusting. My hair was at the point where it's dry even when you've just washed it. When like the ends get all, I guess my mum calls them ratty, like they just were all like curled up and all dry and just, it was so gross. But the reason that my hair was so dead was because we'd obviously been traveling. Latin America's water is not, I guess, the best. You can't drink the tap water if that gives an indication of maybe the water quality over there. But I didn't really have any problems up until Argentina. And Argentina was where my hair decided to, fall out, basically. Like clumps and clumps of hair in the shower, to the point where I thought I had like a disease, I had like a disorder, I was maybe eating something that I was allergic to. Like I had so much paranoia about why I was losing so much hair, because even though I had so much hair on my head, I would be brushing it in the shower and genuine clumps were coming out, and I was so worried about it. I kind of figured out by the time we got to Chile that it was actually just the water quality. It also dried out my skin, but I'll talk about that with skincare. And so I needed it badly cut. But obviously I wasn't really helping myself. I didn't take any products for curly hair. I didn't take any moisturizing masks, nothing. And so maybe I would have done that. I really don't think it would have helped. I honestly think the water there is just very harsh on your head. And if you're going to go, it's probably going to be best if you either buy or bring a shower filter or something. I would recommend it. I don't know if depends how much you really care. Leave that up to you. That's your decision. But because obviously I got my hair cut, it got me thinking about the hair care and skincare and body care that I did for myself, or things that I wish I'd done for myself when traveling. And like I said, seen so many TikToks about girls taking things that I just don't think that you need. I think you do it out of being somebody that likes those things when you're at home, but when you're traveling, it's such a different environment and it's such a different way of living because you don't have everything accessible to you. And so I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on things to do to take care of yourself and still look nice and still maintain your beauty, but when traveling. First up, let's talk skincare. I didn't take any skincare products with me. The only thing I had was sun cream that my mum got me for Christmas, actually, which was like a special factor 50, which I think is meant for redheads. So, it's great. Only thing I bought actually was in Guatemala. I went to the pharmacy for some CeraVe spot cream just because my skin was acting up a bit, but I actually didn't end up using it apart from that one time when I needed it. So I wouldn't say I needed to buy it. I think I was just kind of panicking and wanted to try and sort my skin. I'm very acne prone. All throughout my teen years, I had acne all along my jaw and on my chin, and I think that's because of hormones. Like, it wasn't something that I was eating. If I cut certain things out of my diet, it wasn't helping or anything. I genuinely think it was just hormones. And so I want to kind of preface this with that, so you don't think that I've got this perfect skin and, nothing phases my skin. I have very, very sensitive skin. And if I didn't do the benzoyl peroxide creams, gels, face washes, whatever, then my skin would really act up and really act out. So I just want to preface it with that, so you know that I'm not coming at you with skin that isn't prone to anything. It's very, very sensitive. But just before leaving to go traveling, I actually realized that not touching my face or doing anything for my skin really helped, which I've seen other people say that technique works for them as well, but I didn't really wash my face as often, or I would moisturize every day, but I didn't use any benzoyl peroxide creams, any kind of acne treatment, spot creams, nothing, and it would just clear up. I don't know why, because I live in London and it's polluted as hell there, so I don't know why, but I think my skin goes through phases where if I don't touch it, it's perfect and my skin is great, but sometimes I need the products, and when I use the products, they work really well. So I will say that my skin was the best it's ever been, and I really wish that I could maintain that skin, was when we went through Central America and maybe a bit of Colombia and Peru. I genuinely think it was the sun. It did wonders for my skin and it was so smooth. I was not insecure about it at all. I barely got any spots. So I do think that being in the sun is actually just a natural skin routine, I guess. Like, it's something that helps your skin so much. But obviously I do understand that people do suffer with acne, no matter whether it's sunny, rainy, whatever. And my recommendation would be take things that you absolutely need, things that are necessary. Like if your skin is not clear without the benzoyl peroxide creams or some typical acne creams, then just take them, because obviously it's going to make you feel better about your skin. Especially when you're traveling, you're going to be taking so many pictures of yourself in these places, and you don't want your skin to be the thing that makes you feel insecure about a picture, or you don't want to show people this photo because you're insecure about your skin or how it looks, when in reality, you actually just want to show what you've been doing and how amazing it's been. So I would say just take the necessary products. If you think you can get away with not taking any products, that's what I recommend. Maybe just a moisturizer. That was the only thing I wish I'd taken with me, because as we know, sun cream is pretty oily and just can make your face feel really gross. Probably just a nice little compact moisturizer. Don't bring like a whole tub of it, but just something that is in a tube or something that you can slip into your bag. And I think that will be the only product that you need. Genuinely don't think you need anything else. Also making sure to hydrate, because when traveling, you will be walking around everywhere and you will be in the sun at some point, I'm sure. You need to make sure that you're hydrating. It's good for your skin, but also obviously good for your body in general and good for like normal functions. But that's something we were really cautious of. But like I said, in Latin America, the tap water is not drinkable. And so we were very conscious to make sure we had water out with us all the time. It doesn't cost a lot, and you just need to make sure you have enough water stocked up in your room or whatever. Also, bottles of water fit in the Uniqlo bum bags, so there's kind of no excuse to not have a water bottle when you're out and about. I'm just thinking now, and I'm thinking that maybe something that you might want to take for the people that are prone to acne or people whose skin can react really badly when you don't have products, is maybe taking things like cleanser wipes. Like, don't take a face wash because that's going to be quite heavy, but taking some kind of cleanser wipes, or maybe taking some of those pre-soaked pads that you can get in a small tub. Maybe you could bring them with you because they'll clean your face as best as obviously possible. They're not going to take up too much room or weight in your bag. I kind of wish I'd done something like that, where I'd brought even micellar water and some cotton pads or something, just to make my face feel a bit fresher, and also have products on my skin that my skin is used to, because I think that's another big thing. If you're going to a different country, you're buying different skincare products, your skin will react badly sometimes because it's not used to the product. Like when we were in Argentina and Chile and I was having the whole hair issue of my hair falling out and my hair being really dry, it was happening on my face and my skin as well. I was getting really, really, really dry skin, to the point where my forehead particularly just almost looked like a rash. It looked really, really angry and horrible. And also just at the top of my forehead, like where my hairline starts, it was so dry to the point where I was scared to itch my face, because I was so scared that dead skin was going to come off my face, which sounds disgusting, but I'm trying to paint a picture here and give you an idea of how bad my skin was with the water there. So luckily I was given a steroid cream by our family friend, and it was actually, I think, used for nappy rash or something. It was actually used for babies, but I always think skincare products that are meant for kids or meant for babies specifically are going to be the best ones, because they will be the softest on your skin and they're not going to be as harsh as, you know, products that I guess are for adults. I think it could have been prevented if I just brought my own moisturizer and I'd really been taking care of my skin just that little bit more. And also, pharmacies are always going to have what you need. So no matter what country you're in, as long as you go to a pharmacy and say, look, I'm having this problem, I think it's because of the water, I think it's because I ate something, whatever, they're going to have the solution. Part of me is also thinking, don't take any products and see what you need and don't need. Just buying things when you need them, instead of taking and prepping for all these things and not needing any of the products that you've brought with you. I noticed that a lot of you aren't subscribed to the podcast, so make sure to subscribe and like this episode to stay up to date. It means so much. Thank you. I don't know if this is like a controversial thing. I feel like I've seen conversations where people don't like this product, but I loved it. Was shampoo bars, taking them in little containers or something and using that instead of buying liquid shampoo. I'd never tried shampoo bars before. Love them. 10 out of 10, best thing for traveling, because it just means that you can keep your shampoo compact and you're not having to worry about weight. The only thing I would recommend that I didn't do was buying one of those plastic cases. I think it's like a foldable case, almost it's like a small lunchbox or something. I was actually using sandwich bags and having to wrap it up and put it in my bag. It was fine, like you can do it that way. It just wasn't obviously the cleanest, and I had to try and not have soap on my hands before doing it, because otherwise all the soap would go everywhere, blah, blah, blah. car. I would recommend getting one of the cases. I should have just bought a case, but I didn't. And then for conditioner, I don't really remember what we did. We just seemed to sort of pick up conditioner bottles, like the travel size one, from hotels or hostels that we stayed in, and we would just make them last. Before we came to Australia, we actually brought so many bathroom essentials from Chile because it was so much cheaper. We bought about, I think, like 6 tubes of toothpaste. We bought a massive thing of shampoo and conditioner, which cost about £2, and it was so ideal. I guess it just sort of depends where you're going, because if it's going to be cheap, you might as well just buy it when you're there instead of spending like £5 on a bottle here. If you're going somewhere like Australia, for example, it's pretty similar prices to the UK, so you might just want to buy it there. I don't know, I just remember that we seemed to kind of pick up bits and pieces, and then we would buy little bottles that weren't travel size but like smaller versions of the normal bottles, and we would just carry them in our bag, wrap them in sandwich bags or something, and that was just sort of the easiest way for us to do it. Obviously take a hairbrush. I mean, I'm not going to be one of those travelers that's like, I don't brush my hair. You will want to brush your hair. If you're going in and out of the sea, you will want to brush your hair. It's going to get knotty. Definitely take a hairbrush with you, but I wouldn't say take any hair products. I think I'm saying that as someone who has curly hair. I mean, that's probably why I ended up having to cut half my hair off, but I wouldn't say take any products. You might want to take like a mousse or something to make your curls look nice if you're going out for an evening or you just want a bit of a revamp, but I really wouldn't take any products. I think there's no point. You're going to be getting in and out of water, you're going to be sweating a lot, you're going to be walking around a lot. Probably just going to end up tying your hair up, to be honest. I just had my hair in a claw clip the whole time, so if you want to save room, the first thing I would take out is your hair products. Some people also like to take a bit of dry shampoo, which I didn't personally. I don't know if I would, but it sounds like a really good idea just to kind of zhuzh up your hair and make your hair feel a bit nicer after you've been out all day or something. I just didn't have the room for a thing of dry shampoo, if I'm honest. It wasn't something that I was gonna make space for. If you're somebody that likes to wash their hair every day, or you want to keep your hair looking nice, basically, you might want to get some dry shampoo, but I wouldn't say it's an essential. I would say it's just something that some people might like. Don't bring your curling iron, your hair straighteners, your blow dry brush, your heat protectant spray. Just don't do it. There is no need for it, honestly. I see so many videos and TikToks of girls packing their straighteners, packing their curling irons, thinking that you are gonna have time to do that, thinking that when you're traveling, you're gonna care about that kind of shit. I promise you, shove your hair up in a claw clip and you'll look perfect. Honestly, you do not need to take anything like that. It's such a waste of time, in my opinion, because if you're straightening your hair the whole time, you're getting in and out of the water, or you're going and walking around, you might get sweaty. Your hair is not going to look perfect. And also, you're just going to damage your hair even further. Even if you are wearing heat protectant, eventually it will catch up to you and your hair will just be fried. I honestly think that just putting your hair in a claw clip, putting on some mascara if you're going out or something just to make you feel nice, that's all you need. But also you've got to remember that so many people are going to be in the same boat as you, and people are not going to have bought their hair straighteners, curling irons, whatever. So if you turn up and your hair is all frizzy or your hair is not looking its best, no one is going to judge you and no one cares, because everybody probably looks the same. Don't be that person. You don't need it, and it's wasted space in your bag. I keep talking about it, but the claw clip, best purchase I ever made. I think I bought it in 2020 and I've still used the same one every single day. I actually broke it a few days ago, so regardless. But I could not have lived without that clip during traveling. It was perfect. You put your hair up in it and you can take it from day to night, put on a bit of makeup if that's something you want, especially when you're in hotter countries and you want your hair off your neck. Best thing ever. Just go on Amazon, buy one. It's very, very cheap, and it obviously doesn't take up a lot of room. You just can clip it onto the strap of a bag. And let's be honest, you are not going to be doing hairstyle videos unless you're doing a travel video where you're trying to work with what you've got. There is no point in trying to make yourself look like you do at home, because that's the whole point of traveling. You're not at home. You've got to make do with what you've got. Now for some body care tips. This is going to kind of focus on the added bits that you can add to your routine that maybe will just make you feel a bit nicer. You know, when you have like an all shave shower and it's like an everything shower, this is the kind of thing I'm going for. My first one is talking about luxury items to take with you. I call them luxury items. They're not technically, you know, they don't have to be like Chanel and MAC and stuff like that. But I call them my luxury items because before I went away, my mum and Sam's mum actually got me my favorite brands, travel sized products. I got a body spray, a hand cream, body wash, and a body moisturizer, and I just took them as my luxury items, and they were used for days when maybe we'd done like a big hike, I was really sweaty, I'd come back, had a shower, I might put some body lotion on or use the body wash, and just kind of felt like a nice, this is like my nice brand. I don't know if anyone else does that, but like if I buy something that's really nice and expensive, I'm trying to savor it, and so I use it on special occasions. And that was kind of my equivalent, because obviously I didn't have access to things that I usually would at home. So I really loved it, and I thought it was just a nice thing. It also felt a bit like a connection to home or something, because they're products that I would use at home. I would definitely recommend taking a few luxury items, even if it's like your favorite mascara, or maybe you have a favorite lipstick that you really like to wear, or I don't know, maybe a favorite clip that you like wearing in your hair. Something that will just make you feel a bit more like you, and maybe have a nice connection to home and make everything feel a bit normal, maybe. You obviously want to have a balanced diet, but I will say that having one whilst traveling is very difficult. I feel like fruit is a lot easier to eat, but I'm saying that with experience in Latin America. I can't speak to Asia or anywhere else, but we ate so much fruit. Vegetables was a bit more difficult because there was the risk of food poisoning. I did get food poisoning from eating some vegetables. It's just the water that they wash them in isn't as clean, and so your body kind of rejects it. I think if you are eating your protein and you're eating some fruit and you're drinking water, I think you'll be fine. I don't think it needs to be more complicated than that, to be honest. I do talk more about this a bit in episode 5, talking about mental health and maintaining what you're eating. But I do think at the same time, you're traveling, you're experiencing new cultures. Like, I want to eat all the food that I can because I can't get this at home. And that's the approach I had. I've never eaten like I did when we were traveling. I ate so much food all the time, but it was all amazing. So I'm kind of like balanced diet. I don't know. I think try and stay as healthy as you can. But at the same time, if you're trying new foods in new cultures, who the fuck cares? Exercise comes in different forms. I think walking a lot is going to be your best way to maintain exercise every day. We also did a lot of big hikes, so I guess that kind of counts as your exercise. But Sam actually went to the gym in Venezuela with our friend Val, who we were staying with, just to kind of get in a nice workout. I definitely think that when you're someone who goes to the gym and you don't have a gym that you can go to, you can feel a bit out of routine. We did see that there were some gyms that were like open to everybody. If you had a membership, you could get like a round the world membership or something to specific gyms where we were. I don't know if it was just because it's Latin America, maybe it's like a thing they do across both continents, but we saw a lot of gyms where you could get around the world memberships. If that's something that you're concerned about and not having a gym to go to, there are programs where you can sign up. But if not, every gym will do like a day pass if it's something that you're really committed to and something that you don't want to miss out on. Just go into the gyms and ask if you can have a day pass. If you can, maybe if you're staying somewhere for a month, can I come here for a month? I'll pay every time I come in. Just work out a deal with them, and I wouldn't stress about it too much. You're going to be getting so much exercise from walking everywhere and obviously doing hikes and doing activities during the day anyway. Make sure to sleep too. Honestly, if you don't get enough sleep, it's just not going to be as enjoyable. Your body needs sleep. It needs to recuperate, rejuvenate. It needs its reset button. And I think that's really, really, really important when traveling. I think you want to wake up every day feeling as good as you can. You're also going to be tired because you're moving around so much. If you're not sleeping, then it's just not going to be fun for anybody. Then randomly, I thought about the fact that, I don't know if it's something people forget to take, but nail clippers and nail files. I brought the nail clippers with me. I did not bring a file. And so I had to go to the pharmacy and get one. But I really think people will forget about that. But it's so nice to have a night where you do like a little self-care routine or something, where you have like an everything shower, you moisturize, you cut your nails, you file them, you might even paint them if you want to, put in a hair mask. You just feel so much better, and I couldn't recommend it enough. But remember to take the nail clippers and the nail files. I feel like the nail files is like maybe even more important. So I just want to stress make sure to bring nail clippers and also a razor, I guess. I mean, you can buy razors wherever, so maybe that's not like a pre-pack thing. You can buy it when you arrive. Just don't forget. And I guess the more serious things to pack is a first aid kit, if you can. Paracetamol, ibuprofen, Nurofen, whatever your preferred kind of pain medication is. Trust me, it comes in handy. I think, especially us girls, when it gets to the time of the month and you feel like shit, sometimes taking some paracetamol and ibuprofen or whatever helps for you, it really, really makes a difference. And I actually used a lot of paracetamol and ibuprofen just in general. Sometimes you get a headache, you've eaten something and you don't feel very well. Also make sure to take Imodium. Sounds kind of gross, definitely comes in handy. When you're eating new foods and your stomach is not always going to agree with you. That's all I'm going to say. Just take some Imodium with you. Trust me. That is it for today's episode. I really hope that this has been helpful and I've made you feel a bit better especially if you're like a high maintenance girly going traveling and you don't know what to pack. I hope this has kind of cleared up some stuff, but obviously comment any tips you have or maybe even comment any other questions you have. I'd be really happy to obviously answer. And I guess the concluding statement is it's all balance and it's all about what's right for you. Like I've said, even with the skincare, if there's products that feel better for you to have with you, then just take them. But for someone else, that might not be a necessity. And so it's all about making sure you're doing what's right for you and making sure that you're bringing what you need, but you want to keep empty room in your bag. You don't want to fill your bag up to the very top, especially at the beginning. You won't have space to then buy new things. And I think you want to have the opportunity and the choice to fill that bag up even more with presents or things you bought, memorabilia. I hope this has helped you kind of guide you in some way, but stay safe and safe travels, and I will see you next week. Bye.